What's up, nerds? My name is Steve from Flipping the Nerd, and this is my top 10 favorite Universal Studios Orlando attractions. Last week, I did my top 10 favorite Walt Disney World attractions, which is also in Orlando, and while I'm there, I always go across the city and check out Universal Studios as well. I'm a big fan of both. They are good for different reasons, so I want to make a video showcasing my favorite attractions at both parks. If you want to check out the Walt Disney World one, just click on the link below in the little description box and you'll see the link there. But if you want to see the Orlando one, Universal Studios one, check it out right here. Just one note before I get into my top 10. I have not been on Hagrid's Magical Adventure ride or motorbike ride because I haven't been to Universal since they opened it 2 months ago when I'm recording this. But I happen to be going to Halloween Horror Nights very soon, and I will check out that ride, and I'm looking forward to it because from what I understand, it's one of the best attractions that they've ever had. So maybe the best attraction. So I'm really looking forward to it, but it's not on this list, and that's the reason why. So before we begin, as always, let's hit a few honorable mentions, starting with Shrek 4D. Now, this isn't so much of a ride. That's why I'm calling the video attractions, because Universal has a lot of screen type attractions where you're pretty much just looking at a screen. This is one of them. You're sitting in a stationary chair that moves and you watch a 10-minute video with Shrek, and a bunch of stuff happens. It's actually a really cool little story that they have going. I like it because it kind of veers towards the horror because Lord Farquaad comes back from the dead and tries to attack them again. You get to go to a graveyard and there's ghosts and stuff like that. And it's just a really cool video. The queue is well themed. There's a little pre-show thing where the Three Little Pigs and the Mirror and Pinocchio have a little thing going on. Overall, very cool attraction, but not quite a top 10. When we go to Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. Right across the street from Shrek 4D, this is kind of a similar nature. We're in a stationary vehicle and you'll watch a screen. Now, it used to be 3D when I saw it. Apparently, they took out the 3D aspect of it, which sucks, but it is what it is. Basically, same type of thing. You watch a video. This one is about the three little girls want to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Gru adopting them. Nice little story, really cool action. It's a cool video. The shakiness of the car isn't too bad. And overall, it's a fun little ride. Again, really cool queue. So this time you wait twice. This is something Universal loves to do, where they put you from room to room to room and different things happen. Kind of a way to make, I guess, the queue a little more immersive. The first room, you're in Gru's room. Kind of cool. You see his dog there, and you see his seat. Then you go into another room and there's a little video of him with a few minions and the three girls, which has a little bit of comedy and stuff. And then you get into the actual attraction. So again, very cool, but it is just a stationary video, so I didn't put it in my top 10. Moving over to the Simpsons ride. Springfield is an incredible land that they have. It's a complete full land dedicated to Springfield. You have Moe's, you have Apu's convenience store, you have Krusty's stuff, you got a lot of restaurants. It's a really, really cool, intricate land, and I really enjoy being there. But the ride itself, once again, you're in a stationary vehicle and you watch a video. This one, unlike the others, isn't like a theater screen. It's like this giant dome screen, so you don't really see the edges anywhere. This one is, again, skewing a little bit to the horror. Not quite like Treehouse of Horror, but still there's a lot of cool horror stuff that happens in it, which I love. And it's got a lot of jokes about theme parks and about Disney and stuff like that, which is ironic because they're making fun of the company that eventually bought The Simpsons. But anyway, it's a pretty cool video. But again, you're stationary, you're just watching a video, and that's why I didn't put it in my top 10. Moving on, Skull Island Reign of Kong. So shockingly, this is also mostly a video. Unlike the other ones, though, this one you're in kind of this truck, so it's like you're going on an expedition, and it's the building itself is incredible. It just looks so cool. It's huge. It's immersive. So you go into this truck and then you go into this cave, and unfortunately it's then mostly video where you're in this tunnel and there's things happening on both sides. So it feels like you're there. Not quite, but that's what it's supposed to do. So you have Kong. He saves you from fighting dinosaurs and creatures and bugs and stuff. And eventually it comes out and there's a giant real animatronic of Kong, which is fantastic. But most of it is screens, and that's a real bummer. I think they could have done more practical stuff, and that's why it's only on my honorable mentions and not my top 10. Finally, hey, a non-screen ride. The Cat in the Hat. This is like a typical ride you usually see at Disney. You're kind of in a vehicle and it goes along a track, and there's a bunch of like animatronic things that happen with Cat in the Hat, kind of going through the story of Cat in the Hat and stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool ride. It's a ride I really like. I just like that type of dark ride experience, just going through. I mean, it's super easy. It's for kids mostly, of course. It's Cat in the Hat. But you get to go into Dr. Seuss land, which is also really intricately themed. And I do enjoy it. I just didn't quite top 10 enjoy it. But it's nice that they have some stuff that isn't screens. So now, let's get into the top 10. Number 10. The Incredible Hulk Coaster. The Incredible Hulk Coaster is a full-length roller coaster, and what makes this one really cool is it really like shoots you off at the beginning of it. It's Hulk kind of throwing you like away is what they're going for. Other than that, there's not a lot of theming. It's really just a roller coaster, but it is a really cool roller coaster. It goes upside down. It's very fast. It's got some good loops in it, and I do enjoy the thrill ride of it. Now, it's got points because it's Hulk, and I love Marvel. A little bit of deduction because it's the kind of thing you would find at any theme park, but because of the cool theming and how thrilling it is and how much fun it is, I did manage to sneak it into my top 10, and that's where it belongs. Number 9. Rip Ride Rocket. This is another kind of straight up roller coaster, and where it gets the edge over the Incredible Hulk is it's got this really cool kind of like vertical ascension right at the beginning, and then it drops you off and then becomes kind of a regular roller coaster. And something that's really cool about it is you get to choose your own music. So you have a little console and you have a list of like, I'd say like 40 songs that you can pick. And so you get to kind of ride into your own style of music, which is really, really cool. I like it a little bit better than the Hulk because of that first ascension. And it's a little bit longer and there's just more stuff to love about it. But it was a really close call between the two. But again, it's still just a roller coaster, and that's why it's so low on the list. Still better than the honorable mentions, and did deserve a spot in the top 10, but it's something you can find at most theme parks around the world, and that's why it's so low, but deserving a spot on the list. Number 8. Men in Black Alien Attack. So in this one, you play an agent doing a recruitment mission, and you're in a car that's moving, and you got like a gun on it, like a ray on it, and it's for you to try to get the most amount of points possible by shooting aliens and other stuff during your adventure through this training facility. I do really like that. It's similar to like Buzz Lightyear at Disney, or I guess a little bit like the other Toy Story Mania, but this one is the one that does it best, in my opinion, of those three. It's just cool. It's really, really well themed, but you're not really looking at the theme because you're so busy shooting, trying to get the maximum score. You get to see some really cool Men in Black aliens in that attraction. The facility itself is really cool. You get to see kind of like the central hub where the Men in Black, do their business there in the queue, and you get to see some guns on the wall, and it's really, really cool. Little cameos by Will Smith, of course, in the attraction. It's really cool. I love shooting stuff. It's interactive. It's well themed, and that's why I put it on the list. Number 7. Transformers The Ride 3D. We're heading right back into screen territory, which is what Universal is famous for. And this time you're in a vehicle again, but the vehicle actually moves through an attraction, and you go from screen to screen with a few practical effects, including a really cool Megatron one. What I like about this one is the video is very immersive. So even though you're looking at screens, you don't feel so much like out of it. I feel that it really immerses you into the story. There's real effects and stuff. Like you really feel like the wind on you, and you feel like water spraying on you and stuff like that. The Megatron, like I said, is really, really awesome. And for a screen ride, it's a really well done screen ride. I think there's one more. No, there's a few more. Okay, there's a few more screen rides on here, but this one does it really, really well. And I do like the Transformers. It's got an amazing life-size Optimus Prime right at the front of it. The queue's okay, nothing too great. You're kind of just in a facility getting into the vehicle, and you play kind of, I think, a rookie Transformer or something, or just a car. It's not really, I don't really remember. It's been a little while, but I do enjoy the hell out of this ride for, screen ride, but deserving of a spot on the list. Number 6, E.T. Adventure. This is another fully immersive dark ride, so no screens. It's fully animatronic, and it's a really cool queue. You get to go kind of through the forest, kind of like in the movie. And this actually plays as a sequel to E.T. It's completely endorsed by Steven Spielberg. He makes an appearance at the beginning. When you come into the attraction, you have to say your name to the cast member or the attendant or whatever, and they give you like an old school plastic card. You give that plastic card at the ride. You're into these bicycles with E.T. at the front, and the whole thing happens kind of like in the movie where you're riding a bicycle through the streets and then eventually onto E.T.'s homeworld. Just really cool visuals, great music. It's got a really distinct smell of pine, which is very, very distinct to that ride there, which I adore. Very well themed, very cool. I love to look at it. A lot of water effects. E.T.'s home planet is a really cool, detailed thing. And at the end, E.T. actually says your name, and it works most of the time. Not always, but it is cool that E.T. says your name because of that card that you gave to the attendant before. So overall, absolutely adore this ride and very deserving of a spot on the list. Number 5. Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. Spider-Man is my absolute favorite superhero of all time, so of course, anything Spider-Man related is going to be popular with me. In this one, here, guess what? It's a screen one. Very similar to the Transformers ride. You're in a vehicle and it moves through kind of a whole maze of stuff, and you go from screen to screen. It's got some practical effects. It's got a Statue of Liberty, and you get a real fireball at one point. You get to see some of Spider-Man's coolest villains, like Electro and Doc Ock, and a few others, of course, Hydro Man, and there's a bunch. Spider-Man is very immersive. There's a lot of cool little Easter eggs. You're kind of going on an adventure with Spidey, and I absolutely adore it. The queue is actually the Daily Bugle, which is awesome. You get to go through the offices of the Daily Bugle and stuff. J. Jonah Jameson makes an appearance. There's a classic cameo from Stan Lee. There's a lot to love about this attraction, and that's why I put it on the list. Number 4. Jurassic Park River Adventure. This one is themed to, of course, Jurassic Park. It's got a whole land dedicated to Jurassic Park, and you get on a boat and you go through kind of the boat section of Jurassic Park, like the original movie with the cars, but you're in a boat. You get to go through the iconic Jurassic Park doors, and you're going through a quick, a kind of a scenic tour of different dinosaurs, but then alarms blare. They have to divert you into the facility. You see the raptor cage, and it's been, of course, broken by the raptors, and you go up this giant kind of ascending thing. You see raptors and different dinosaurs, and it ends with T-Rex coming after you in a giant drop, just an absolutely massive drop that will get you wet. It is a really cool attraction. It is a little dated now, though. Universal Studios in Hollywood just got an upgrade with Jurassic World. I prefer Jurassic Park of the movie, but I do think that this attraction needs a little bit of updating. Still, very, very cool attraction. Great animatronics. I love the T-Rex when he's there. He's not always there, which is really weird. I love the Velociraptors. I love going through the iconic doors and that music, and it's just a really cool attraction and no screens. So that's points for me, and that's why I put it on my list. Number 3. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Harry Potter has a lot of representation in Universal Studios Orlando. It's got Hogsmeade, it's got Hogwarts, it's got Diagon Alley, and just a bunch of stuff. This one is the ride inside of Hogwarts Castle. The theming here is like the best. Yeah, it's like one of the best. It's this and number 2 are like competing, but they're both Harry Potter. Spoiler alert. So Forbidden Journey, you go into Hogwarts Castle. You get to go into recreations of the classrooms, like very, very cool. You get to see the kids. You get to see Dumbledore using this really cool screen technology, but it's not like a movie screen. It's like a screen where they project the character on, and it looks like that they're there. It's a very cool effect. And then finally, you get into the attraction. You go through the main hall with all the candles floating. And this one is like one of those rides where your feet are dangling. So you're kind of like flying through. And it's just awesome. It's a mix of things that are happening on a screen and real life effects. So you see like a real Dementor, then it goes to a screen of things happening, and then you see real spiders, and then another screen. So it's like a nice mix of practical effects and screens. This, if you're going to use screens, this is the way I like to see them. It's a mix of both. So you actually feel like you're there. You can do things with screens that you just can't do with practical effects, but there are things with practical effects that work a lot better. And this is the type of attraction that really plays the best of both worlds. And that's why it's so high on the list. Number 2. Harry Potter and Escape from Gringotts. So similarly to the last one, this one is in Diagon Alley, and you get to go into Gringotts Bank, into their vault. They have a recreation of the bank that is just mind-blowing. It really looks like you're there. I don't know if it's 1-to-1, but it's very close. There's this gigantic chandelier in the middle of the room. You see all of the like goblins and stuff like working on the sides. It's just so friggin' cool. This whole attraction is just fantastic. You go from room to room into the queue, kind of like in the Forbidden Journey, same thing. You get to see kind of the tunnels, and you get to go down this like crazy elevator, which is kind of a mix of a video and a hydraulic elevator thing. It's just a fantastic experience. The attraction itself, this time you're not flying, you're in kind of a roller coaster, but in a bigger vehicle, and you go through the same thing as the Forbidden Journey, where it's a mix of screens and real practical effects, and it's just awesome. This one's faster. It's kind of a little bit of a roller coaster. If you've seen the movie, it's kind of similar to the cars that they go into when they go into the Gringotts vaults. Fantastic attraction. Really could have been number 1. I kind of was toying back and forth between this one and what ended up at number 1. But this one is you can't miss this one if you go to Universal Studios Orlando. Fantastic all around, fantastic theming, fantastic ride. I love this one to death. That's why it's on my list. Number 1. Revenge of the Mummy. I am a huge horror fan. I mean, it's obvious. I go there for Halloween Horror Nights all the time. So, of course, the one, I'm doing quotations here, scary ride is the one I'm going to gravitate to the most. And this would be it. It's based off The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, which wasn't all that scary, but the ride is played off so really cool. It is a roller coaster, but unlike like the Hulk or the other one, it's all inside, and it's not like full roller coaster. It starts and stops depending on where you are. So you start off and you go into this car and you see like the mummy and it attacks a person. And then you go into the like kind of this throne room, and there's all these mummies that come out, and there's real fire, and there's like a ton of gold and stuff like that. And then you escape him, you do a little bit of a roller coaster thing, go into another room, and these scarabs fall on you. Then you go into another room, and the roof, the ceiling like sets on fire with real fire. And this attraction is just like insane. I love it to death. I do it over and over again. It's a mix of everything I love about attractions. It's all inside. It's in a moving vehicle. There are no screens. Like, I like them when they play it well, but if they can pull it off without screens, they do a magnificent job. There's a very little screen in it, but that doesn't count. I love everything about this attraction. It was really a debate between this one and Gringotts, but because this one relies 100% on, or 95% on practical effects, I just love it so much more. And the real fire, you feel that fire, especially the one on the ceiling. Like, you feel the heat of that fire, and it's fast and it's fun and it's an amazing attraction. And the first thing you should go to if you go to Universal Studios Orlando, especially if you're a horror fan, trust me, this one is not to miss. So what do you think of my list? Have you been to Universal Studios Orlando? Let me know what your favorite attractions are. And if you haven't, I highly recommend it. Right now, it's Halloween Horror Nights time, so it's a great time to go. Speaking of which, check out my channel in the next few weeks. As I go to Halloween Horror Nights, I'm going to have a Halloween Horror Nights list, my top 10 favorite houses from Halloween Horror Nights this year. I'm going to have a video kind of showcasing myself going to Halloween Horror Nights, what the event is all about, and kind of taking videos of the stuff happening on the streets. And finally, I'm going to have a haul video of the stuff I pick up there, because I'm all about the merch and I love picking up some stuff at Halloween Horror Nights. So check it out. Next week, I am doing my top 10 favorite Steves. So if you're a Steve, a Steven, or any combination of that name, whether it's fictional or real life, I'm going to do a top 10 favorite Steves in entertainment. There's a reason for it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm sure you can figure it out why I'm doing top 10 favorite Steve. But we'll talk about that next week. Again, thank you so much to the three of you who watch this. I appreciate it so much. This is why I do it. So going to have conversations with you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the flip side. Goodbye.